Anyway, let's proceed. For the information of Senator Sotto, we received the position papers of the different agencies, no? They submitted, and very briefly, ang sinasabi ito, they're all in agreement, they support your bill, ano? Only, meron sila mga comments. Ang common comment dito, hindi masyadong defined yung role, no, ng ibang allied agencies like the PNP, the NBI, BOC, AFP, and so forth and so on. So, without much ado and not to waste too much time, I'll give you the floor so you can articulate yung content ng iyong bill. You have the floor, Senator Sotto.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to everyone. I would like to apologize to the chairman, first of all, because I was not able to attend the first hearing, thinking that I was able to explain the intention or the intent of Senate Bill number 3 during our last meeting. But I forgot that our last meeting was held in Camp Crame and only the PNP were there. But you headed the meeting together with Senator Nasan. I think I was able to explain mostly the intention of Senate Bill number 3. So I failed to explain it fully in the first public order dangerous drugs committee meeting. So I apologize for that. So thank you now for giving me the chance to elaborate more.
You can also propound questions.
Oh, yes, yes, I will. I hope, but I hope I can have enough time to explain. During that meeting, we agreed that, well, of course, let me say it outright. The Senate Bill number 3 is not written in stone. No, we will be hearing your comments, and we will be able to perhaps make it better, if not the best. No, it is an offshoot of what has transpired in the last 14 years after the Dangerous Drugs Act created the PDEA, and upgraded the Dangerous Drugs Board. There were pitfalls, there were issues, and I think the SB number 3 intends to cure or to correct some of that, most of that. First, we agreed with Senator Lacson and Senator Nasan and members of the PNP that Senate Bill number 3 will be called the Presidential Drug Enforcement Authority. That was the original proposal in 2001 when I'm sorry. Originally, 1992, when I first proposed this, after a successful formula in Quezon City. We will call it the Presidential Drug Enforcement Authority. Now, why SB number 3? The intention of the creation of the PDEA and the upgrading of the Dangerous Drugs Board in 2002, I think, was misinterpreted and not executed fully to its real intention. We wanted then to we wanted to create a structure, in 2002, that will be able to execute.
Sorry, I failed to mention the presence of Governor Bichara, Executive Director ni Governor Bichara. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. As I was saying, the structure was created to execute the 4 major concerns or a holistic approach in fighting the war on drugs. And most of you who have been fighting this know that we cannot win this with enforcement alone. It has to be enforcement, prosecution, prevention or preventive education, and rehabilitation. It has to be this 4-way approach. Second ranking would be alternative development, perhaps. But the four major concerns were the real intention or the address of the creation of the PDEA before and the upgrading. Now, what happened was somewhere along the way, PDEA became an agency of its own. It is supposed to be the enforcement arm of the DDB. But there was a detachment somewhere along the way. Even when I became chairman of the DDB, I noticed that, there was no harmony when the PDEA was supposed to be the enforcement arm of DDB. Now, DDB has its faults. Why? According to the law, they should meet once a week. At the very least, once a month, but the law says once a week. They never met. They met twice a year. 3 times a year, maximum. The only time they met monthly was when I became chairman, because I insisted. I told the president then that I wanted the department secretaries to attend. Our problem then, perhaps, was creating a DDB that had 17 departments and represented by the secretaries. It was like a cabinet meeting. Eh, laging walang quorum. Yeah, so you see the problem that we encountered, no? And then the enforcement of PDEA was not really coordinated with the PNP or the NBI. Somehow it was, but it was not fully coordinated. When the real intention of the creation of PDEA was like USDA. It will have supervision, but the PNP will be the anti-illegal drug group and perhaps units of the NBI or even the armed forces. Parang yung USDA dito, for so long a time, there were only USDA in the country, but they were effective. Ganun ganun yung strategy talaga originally, no? The only time that an elite force of PDEA should be used is when the area is compromised. Other than that, it should be the PNP for enforcement. Now, the problem also, again, it was misinterpreted because ang prosecution, it was left fully to the DOJ. No coordination whatsoever with the enforcement arms. So what happened? Right now, 74% dismissal of drug cases. Even before that, more than 80% dismissal of drug cases. In the last 6 years, it was the worst. And in the last 6 years, they even removed an executive order by then President Macapagal, which used a circular by Secretary Simeon Datumano that all drug cases dismissed shall be automatically reviewed by the Office of the President. May circular na ganon at may executive order na ganon. It was removed in the last 6 years. So, lalong lumala yung dismissal ng cases. No? Then, why? It was not coordinated. Pag sinita mo yung mga prosecutor, ano na nangyari? Sasabihin sa akin, sir, yung mga PDEA nyo, saka mga polis nyo, di marunong mag-file ng kaso eh. Di marunong mag-prepare ng kaso. Pag sinita mo PDEA, sinita mo polis, ano nangyayari? Hindi rin kayo marunong mag-file ng kaso. Ang sagot sa akin, hindi sir, yung mga prosecutor nyo, malalagyan. Nakita nyo yung miscord. Ano? So, that is only 2 of the aspects. What about prevention and preventive education? Right now, I think the PNP is preparing a preventive education campaign. That's good, but that's not their work. Hindi sa kanila dapat yun. Dapat yun sa DepEd eh. Hindi ba? Even the preventive education campaign should be in all schools. Drug abuse resistance education should have in all grade 6 levels. Why grade 6? Because they're about to turn teenagers. Yun yung dapat na hindi na curious. Dapat alam na nila na masama ang droga, hindi dapat. Kaya doon ang prevention campaign. And then the 4th, rehabilitation. Wala rin siya yung PDEA, wala rin siya yung DDB. Wala rin siya yung PNP. Bakit? Nasa DOH. Hindi priority ng DOH. It's a good thing that Dr. Reyes, who was a member of the DDB then, who is now chairman of the DDB, I congratulate you for that, understands the plight. Di ba? Tama yung sinasabi ko. Hindi naging priority ang rehabilitation. Kaya ilan ang rehabilitation center in the country? When I was DDB chair, 48. Ang accredited lang ng DOH, 13. Can you imagine that? Oh. So, kaya tayo kulang na kulang ngayon. And so, the intention of Senate Bill number 3 is to correct all of this by upgrading the DDB and the PDEA into a Presidential Drug Enforcement Authority under the Office of the President. With the President like President Duterte, this will work. I am sure this will work. Now, we will hopefully accept your proposals or the other intentions, or I'm sorry, the other concerns that you might have. But as I said, hopefully we will be able to craft, the committee of Senator Lacson will be able to craft a bill that will address this particular problem and hopefully win the war on drugs. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Sotto.